What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology, the Titans action, spawning in the bottom of the map in the blue color, playing as Zeus. Not exactly a smurf, but I'm not exactly sure what he is, because he's currently sitting on top of the Voobly ladder. He's from the fx46 clan, calling himself fx46, and we'll see how things are going to go in this game, because he is up against the red player here in the Odin color, playing as Max Train. I said that all in the wrong order, but I think it's interesting. Maybe it's funny, maybe it's not. Maybe you guys understood. I don't know. Point is, we've got ourselves a not necessarily a smurf, because he's got like 200 plus games under his belt on his account, but he's sitting at the top of the ladder. So what is he doing differently that everyone else is doing? Because things are looking very interesting here. We'll see how it's all going to go. We do have ourselves a Zeus versus Odin matchup on the map Ghost Lake with a 1 Auroch spawn here for F46. So we'll see what's happening. We didn't actually see we did actually, never mind. I was going to say we didn't actually see a great hunt on this Auroch over here, but we did see it over here. One thing that I think Norse players have to get in their heads really, really quickly is that if you can save an ox cart, you should save an ox cart. So first things first, if you can actually drag this Auroch all the way to here, then great hunt, and then drag it onto the town center. That saves an ox cart there. But the other thing is, if you've got a gold mine really close to aggressive animals, don't build this ox cart. Just drag the Auroch next to the gold mine and share the ox cart here. And then you actually save yourself quite a few resources in the early game and get yourself a really, really big advantage. So we'll see how things are going to go that's just a little thing, because here you could have that ox cart over here, for example, and then not have any villager walking time here in the early game and have a little bit more wood income, just as a little bit of an optimization. So we'll see how things are going to go as F46 here, moving up to this Auroch over here. I'm already not a fan of this build order right now from F46. Generally speaking, the best way to play Zeus in the early game is to build a maximum of 2 granaries if you can so help it in the early game, and he's actually building 3. So that's going to send him all the way back to a 430 or even a 445 advance time, depending on how things go here. The best way to kind of do it is you build this granary, you try and find this hunt as fast as you can. You send like 2 or like at maximum 4 villagers onto this hunt, and then immediately start sending villagers over to this hunt, and then you advance that way is the kind of best way to do it. So you can go with 2 villagers on wood. We just see 3 on here for F46, 2 on gold here, and that's going to help your advance time out quite a bit. We do see some relics on the map. The Blanket of Empress Zoe, -5% building crush vulnerability there, as well as the Bow of Artemis here. That one's a really, really big relic to grab. That's -15% archer cost here for the Zeus player. Also, I believe it's centaur reduction as well. Yeah, extra centaur reduction here. So if F46 decides he wants to go for centaur here, he's going to have like 180, is that right? 175, I can't do math, 170 resource centaur, which is a big reduction when you think about it. So we'll see how things are gonna kind of go here in this game as Max Train over here, Shelty, is just about to be able to click up to the next age. He's moved over onto his hunt over here. He's cut villagers. Just needs to get that extra little bit of food income, and he's going to be going up through Freya here. A little bit late. He's got himself 5 villagers on wood, 4 villagers on gold. He's got himself over here 7 villagers on food. And he's going to finish up that hunt very, very quickly. He's walled this off a little bit, but even the thing is about saving this hunt here from the perspective of Shelty is even if he saves it, Centaur can still come in and snipe villagers on this location. They can still swing around, or we do see a big wall coming up over here. So maybe if he drags them back over here, he should be okay. But we'll see how things are going to go as F46 has decided that Hermes is the god of choice. And we do actually see that early Jason has come out to pick that one up. So it's going to be a Centaur style here against Shelty's Odin. And we'll see how things are going to go. 50% of the way through on that one here. We've got 9 villagers on wood, 1 villager on gold, 6 villagers on food, happily eating the food over here. I'm going to grab that Blanket of Empress Zoe as well, giving him extra 5 or -5% building crush vulnerability there. as that's going to be a big help moving forward in this game, as Freya does pop here for Max Train for Shelty. He's dropping his Longhouse, and we'll see what sort of an army he's going to be going for here. He did choose Freya and not Heimdall. Makes a lot of sense. His Valkyrie is going to be potentially just staying back. I'm not exactly sure what the best play here is for Odin. I think trying to make the bolt get used on this Valkyrie is the correct play, so that later down when you get your Frost Giants out, there's no problem where that's concerned. But he's going to be sending that over here, just waiting on this position. We'll see how things are going to go. As the Longhouses are up, the walls are all up as well. And let's check out F46's position here. No barracks getting thrown down just yet. The Sylvan Law is coming in. And I was right, 170 as the Kodoskopos comes through. The Valkyrie was bolted here as F46 gets very disappointed as he sees the Caribou are all gone. The villagers have moved back. You do have to micro this a little bit to get that away from the the tree line, and he does manage to get that over there. So that's going to be a relatively safe villages. Maybe there could be a Odysseus sitting in here causing some problems. Maybe the Centaur can reach here, but I think if he brings the villagers over to the other side of that Auroch, he should be completely fine here. So fully walled in. The Hersa hits this one away. There is a gap over here. No, there's no gap over there. So F46 has got no way into Max Train's base here. So we'll see how things are going to go. Raiding Cavalry, the unit of choice here for Max Train. I imagine that we're going to start seeing the barracks getting thrown down or a town center coming up here for F46. Those are the kind of the only two options I can think of going forward here. I think that if you take a look at the map, all the gold is on the top side of the map here. So the best course of action, it would seem, for F46 is to go for a really heavy classical fight on this location. Try and break these walls down, force some... we are seeing those raiding cavalry getting targeted onto this position over here. Force some sort of defensive watchtowers or something like that, and see how he can go as the raiding cavalry pushing back here. We'll see what's happening here as the villagers just hanging around on this position, and we are indeed going to be seeing that town center going up. So the point here is, and the reason why I said this is probably going to be a good idea, is you can grab this town center, go for that heavy classical fight, but have that extra 15 population. Whereas the game plan of Shelty here is going to be some sort of semi-fast heroic. He's already got his armory down. He wants to go to that heroic age, and you could potentially get this gold starve happening over here as the Hersa comes in onto this position, just defending it nicely here as the raiding cavalry pulling back. We'll see how things are going to go here as the raiding cavalry taking a little bit of damage there. Nice play there by F46, getting every little bit of chip damage done possible here in this game. Is he going to start throwing down his buildings now? Yes, he does. There's his first military academy. Now, to support 2 town centers and a military academy, you will need somewhere between 12 and 14 villagers on food. We've only got 6 on food here. We've got 6 on food over here that are going to move over here, so he should be all right to produce these hoplites moving forward. Now, the problem is that if Max Train sees this town center going up, and he is going through Skadi, his first course of action should be drop a hill fort on this position over here, potentially here, to secure this town center and this gold mine over there. And that's going to be able to allow him to save his frost for a later date. And feel a little bit more safe in those kind of situations here. He does have himself exactly the amount of resources to drop a hill fort going forward. And we might be seeing Jarls or something like that. There's another crazy idea that he could go for, which I think is a little bit too crazy, but it could be just like straight to the Mythic Age here, off of all of those goats here, going straight for a Ragnarok, going straight in onto a kind of Gold Starve-esque thing off of one town center. I think that might be too crazy. Maybe even just straight to Thimblewinter could be another idea, into like mass Fenris Wolves. But we'll see if that's what he wants to do. Is he being that crazy? There's the Frost Giant. The hoplites coming in. We see a market coming down. Shelty is that crazy, pulling back 2 town centers for F46 here. Hoplites coming out. Toxotes coming out as well. The gate getting torn down here. There's no wood in the bank here for Shelty moving forward. The Frost Giant will be able to freeze one of those hoplites in their track, as Shelty is going to desperately try and hold on here, kind of min hold for the moment here. He makes one throw, an axeman. The Herso managed to get in there onto those centaur, gets a couple of whacks and doesn't manage to pick that off though, pulling back ever so slightly. There is still the Frost remaining. The question is, can he Frost while going to the Mythic Age, force that ceasefire, and then get some value, more value out of potentially the Ragnarok here, as this gold mine is getting closer and closer to finishing here. If he can finish that, he can pull back in onto the goats over here and be kind of fine. He does decide, yep, just going to leave that at 91 gold, pull into his town center here. The market will be spotted here as the villagers are going to be retreating back, and Shelty is going incredibly all in on this Mythic Age right now. As you can see, a little bit of selling of wood there. Going to get that remainder of the food here, and Ragnarok has been clicked here. Ladies and gentlemen, moving over onto this wood line over here. We'll have to rebuild that temple. That's going to be really important. 56 population here as F46 pushing through here. Going to break down the house here. The centaur going to be searching around this map, trying to find villagers to kill here, as he has to know what's happening. But there's still a ceasefire remaining here for F46. So even if Shelty manages to get to this Mythic Age, it's still going to be a tough time for him, as the house gets taken down over here. The Frost Giant is roaming around here, possibly to his demise, as he gets one little frosty move there. But the Odysseus, the Jason, the Centaur moving in, and that's going to be a dead Frost Giant there. Nice play there by F46. Max Train now. He's getting his temple up for that free Frost Giant. He can be selling, oh, not Frost Giant, Fire Giant, I should say. He can be selling some food here, and not necessarily having to click Ragnarok straight away, but I'm not sure what the plan is. He's making a Frost Giant. Just make a Fire Giant. Just make a Fire Giant, not the Frost Giant. It's cost an extra 100 gold, I guess, but the houses are all getting taken down, as F46 is so far in front in this game. Shelty must be scratching his head as to why he chose to go this route in this game. House over here going up, as the town center attempting to hold just a little bit here as the tower goes down over there. F46 is going to be sitting very, very healthily now, getting a lot of military buildings thrown down in this location over here, as the center going to be attempting to take down some units on this position. The market gets taken down. It's going to put a stop to any gold here, and there is Shelty's Ragnarok. Does he have any upgrades? 0 upgrades in the bank. 125 of 75 population, though. He's got himself a Fire Giant. He's got himself a Frost Giant. This army over here is possibly going to take out everything here, as the army is going to march across the map, going to go straight for this town center, I assume, hit this location, hit this gold mine. There is how much gold in this location? Is 700 gold remaining. If you ceasefire and go for Dionysus here, that could be huge if you can get to, yes, go Dionysus here. The armory is on the way. Get yourself some hack armor upgrades, as the Ragnarok hero is pushing in on this location. Going to be a little bit careful there. So long as you can get to Dionysus here, have a bronze, this is going to be a very, very difficult thing to make, a very difficult push to make happen here, as the Mythic Age potentially is going to come through. Maybe he just gets armory upgrades here. I'm not sure what his plan is, as the army moving in. Forest Fire getting dropped onto this position. Dionysus coming through. The town center getting closer and closer to falling, as the army going to be coming in onto this position. He really doesn't want to cast ceasefire, but there it goes. There's the ceasefire. Frost is still available here, ladies and gentlemen. We do have a handful of units over on this location as well here for F46, as Shelty does manage to kill the temple off, grabs those relics, going to take them back home. It's pretty rare you see the Rag heroes picking up relics, but we'll see if these Rag heroes can make this work or not. I think this Fire Giant's going to have to do the most work here, as the town center is going to get rebuilt back up. Did we see any sort of masons getting grabbed here? No masons here. Temple getting rebuilt to try and get that Hydra out, and we'll see how things are going to go. These houses are down. The villagers sitting in on this gold mine over here, doing what they can. As these villagers doing what they can as well, as the army here pushing it onto this position. We'll see if he can hold here. The villagers should technically retreat away. Nice walls over here, trying to grab this gold mine, as much gold as he possibly can. There will be access to immediate access now to Hypaspist here, as the army going to push in over here, kill this town center. He does look at this location. 100 gold left. There's the Frost on onto this position. He hits the majority, or not the majority of those units, but half of the units, so the other half will get killed very, very simply here. Holding off on casting the bronze here at this point, as those villagers, not really hitting a whole lot of those villagers either, as I'm not sure what the point of that frost there was. But we will be seeing a whole bunch of those units getting cleaned up. Max train here, Shelty sitting at 118 of 115 population. He will have a little bit of food left to throw onto these onto those sheep there. As the army going to pull back, start taking down this town center. Do we see those juicy Hypaspis here? Yes, we do. Market is up right now for F46. The Fire Giant still very, very healthy here, taking down that town center here. The units over here going to be falling pretty quickly as well, as Shelty needs to get in and hit this location. But look at this. Right up onto this gold mine here for F46. You could sneak that one there. We'll see if Shelty is going to check that location out or not, as we do see those units trying to run around that location. Imagine actually a forest fire here would have been much, much smarter in hindsight, because this gold mine is open. Why are there two villagers stuck in the middle of that gold mine? I will not know. As the army now moving through, do we see any upgrades here? We don't have any, but bronze does get cast down as F46 is going to attempt to take this fight as best as he can. This Fire Giant over here still very, very healthy here. The Jason gets taken down. Nice marker there by Shelty as he's managing to hold this location fairly nicely moving forward. The bronze units, though, 54% hack armor is a lot of hack armor. They are staying alive for a very, very long time here, as F46 is going to be able to continue to produce units defensively here as he's attempting to hold on. However, that Fire Giant is just so absurdly strong here, as Shelty manages to hold that position ever so slightly. But now what F46 can do is just kind of garrison into those buildings and do that fight over and over again. The Odysseus is out here. He's got to be a little bit careful with that one. Keep it alive to take out that Fire Giant over here. The Fire Giant can actually sit here and start targeting those villagers on that gold mine, but it looks like Shelty doesn't really want to take that away from the army just yet, as the army pushing straight in, trying to take down the Odysseus over here. No Olympic parentage here just yet, as Shelty has managed to equalize here in the score. If we take a look at Shelty's economy now, he is starting to get himself some food income. However, he's just about out of goats, so he will have to start making some villagers onto wood here to make farms, which he really doesn't have the time to. So maybe jumping onto those berries wouldn't be a bad idea over here, as F46 is still trying to create as many of those units out as he possibly can here. He's got a lot of population, 100 population here in the bank, ready to get some good fights happening here. Still no upgrades here for either player, as the army retreating away, still allowing the gold to get grabbed on this position over here. Really, really nice play here from F46, holding off this Ragnarok as long as he possibly can, not committing to anything just yet. The house getting taken down over here. The heroes of Ragnarok getting taken down. The units retreating back here, going to try and run into this location as soon as he possibly can here. And we'll see how it's going to go here for Shelty. As Shelty now, well, he does have a polar bear here. He should be able to eat that one moving forward, as he will decide to do that. Hypaspis moving on to this position to look for some raids here as well, as Shelty retreating around, desperately looking for that gold mine, but it's right in front of your face, my friend. He's looking everywhere, but there's nothing. It's in front of your face. Oh dear, F46 just that little bit too far in front now. And I don't think enough damage has been done. Maybe if there could have been a handful more Fire Giants here for Shelty, if he had a little bit of gold income, maybe if he had managed to put the market up in maybe this corner over here or something, and made one or two ox caravans to give himself a little bit of gold to make some Fire Giants, that could have been a way forward here for Shelty, but he didn't manage to make that really happen. Box formation here for these units as a town center coming back up, and as Shelty sees that one come up, he's going to be very disappointed, because he put so much effort into killing it, as the army does decide to turn around. Odysseus now targeting down that Fire Giant. The Fire Giant getting closer and closer to getting taken down as it does fall there. That's a big DPS hit there to Shelty's army, as Shelty tries to push through here. The town center going to be helping defend. The hoplites in, the Hypaspis in, the army getting cleaned up. Shelty with very, very little remaining here, and he does decide to tap out in the 17th minute and the 41st second of this game. Beautiful game here by F46. I really like this idea of kind of the town center going up to as an idea to try and counter Shelty's kind of semi-fast heroic behind this, because what it does, and we didn't actually see it, Shelty went for a kind of crazy strategy here going straight to the Mythic Age. But what this Tech Second Town Center really does is it says, I don't really care if you go to the heroic age here, because I'm going to put all the pressure onto this location and you're going to have a very, very difficult time of it moving forward here. That's effectively what it says. And I think had Shelty, I think it would be really interesting if instead of going for this crazy strategy, Shelty went for a early hill fort on this location over here and got out Hypaspist and got out Throwing Axemen, got out Frost Giants, and then grabbed this town center. I think we would have had a really, really interesting game here. I mean, this was also interesting nonetheless. We get to see that there is a reason why Norse players do not go for a 50 population 10-minute Ragnarok here. Is that what we saw? 11-minute Ragnarok. Yeah, 50 population, 11-minute Ragnarok. There is a reason why we see that. But it almost works. I mean, if Shelty had sat on these gold mines a little bit harder and prevented this gold from getting grabbed first, so like pushed through this location here, forest fired this, pushed in, held this location much, much better. This forest fire would have killed off an archery range as well. Pushed off this gold mine, pushed through this town center, pushed off this gold mine here. F46 would have had a lot more of a difficult time holding here, but obviously didn't go for that. Anyways, if you enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.